Now, I know that you've achieved most of what you've set out to achieve, but that mental chatter, that monkey mind still keeps on going. It just won't stop. And you've built the business, you've hit the targets, you've created the lifestyle, and yet something feels fundamentally off. Why does it feel like you're running on empty and reacting to everything instead of being able to respond from that centered place that I know that you know is possible? Now, I know that this might not be your state all of the time. I'm being realistic here. However, you might be spending more of your time in this state than you would like. If you're questioning what drives you now that the external goals are met, and you're wondering if more optimization, more personal development might be the answer, I want to share something with you about the trap that keeps even the most successful people stuck. Right. So I'm Dan, and I've had the privilege of working with leaders, entrepreneurs, and founders for over a decade, specifically helping them navigate the nervous system patterns that come with high achievement. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what I call the three phases of the self-improvement trap that successful entrepreneurs fall into. And more importantly, the nervous system based approach that actually creates sustainable fulfillment instead of more optimization fatigue. We can also call this success fatigue. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize exactly where you are in this pattern and understand why more strategies might not necessarily be the answer, and have a clear pathway to shift from constantly trying to fix yourself to operating from that place of deep enoughness that you know is possible. But first, I want to invite you into a gentle nervous system check in. I want you to gently close your eyes or allow for a soft gaze if you're more comfortable with that. Now, I want you to notice, where is there tension right now in your body without a need to change it at all? Just notice, where is there a pocket of tension? Bringing your awareness to it doesn't have to take long. Just noticing, is it in your hip, is it in your shoulders, muscles around your eyes, in your jaw? Just notice whether that feeling is a familiar tension that's probably been sitting there, potentially in the shoulders, in the jaw, and that sense that you should be doing something productive, that you should be somewhere other than where you are right now. I want you to know that you experiencing this is completely natural and super common. You've achieved these external markers of success, but your nervous system can still be running the exact same patterns that got you there, the constant optimization, the chronic stress, that inability to fully switch off that served you so well in the building phase. This is not wrong. This is not something that needs to be fixed. It has served you so well in particular phases of life and business, and will again, but maybe from a different state in the future, from a more relaxed state whilst engaged in the doing. So we're not pointing at any of these patterns as having been wrong, but we're just seeing, how can we do this in a more healthy and natural way? And trust me, I've been there with the optimization piece, with the self-improvement pieces from all of the programs, all of the courses, meditation and the breath work and the retreats, and all of the supplements from your lion's mane, your cordyceps, your ashwagandha, your purple, pink lotus, your red light therapy, your blue and white light and understanding brain waves, and your pink, purple, and green light. What else have we done? We've done the coffee, we've done the CBD, we've done the MCT oil, the keto diet, the paleo diet, oh, your psychedelics, and then we've got gym even, and running, and all of these bits and pieces. Yeah, all of these bits and pieces are things that I was constantly using in trying to hack the nervous system. Are they all wrong? No. Can they be used in a wiser way? Yes. And because you're incredibly capable and used to solving problems through learning more, doing more, optimizing more, of course you turn to self-improvement. But here's what I've learned. When you're accumulating knowledge faster than you're processing what is already here, it creates this energetic heaviness. You're essentially trying to solve success fatigue by giving yourself more things to manage on top of patterns that have not been able to be processed. Your ego construct, those habituated thinking patterns, loves this approach because it genuinely feels like progress. You get that dopamine hit, but what's actually happening is you're building this sophisticated wall of strategies on top of emotional and nervous system patterns that haven't been felt, haven't been processed, and are no longer serving you. You're trying to think your way out of something that thought had created, whilst you actually need to feel your feelings fully to allow for the healthy processing and no longer have those patterns that aren't being felt to continue to negatively influence 90% of the decisions that you're making on a daily basis. That constant mental chatter, that monkey mind that you're trying so hard to optimize away. It's not actually a problem to be solved. It's your nervous system trying to complete stress cycles that have been accumulating for years and years and years, possibly decades. If you want to understand more about the stress response and the stress cycle, go watch my video on that. What did Einstein say? You cannot solve a problem from the place that it was created. It's like you having caused damage using a hammer and you pick up the hammer to unhammer the hammer's damage. I want to share something with you through the lens of the 4 quadrants. These are the 4 quadrants that exist in all moments in reality, because what you're experiencing touches every aspect of how you show up now that you've made it. In your internal experience, your subjective experience, that upper left quadrant, you've achieved this remarkable external success, but internally your nervous system is still operating from emergency mode. Everything feels reactive instead of responsive. In your observable behaviors, your upper right quadrant, the doing space, and what you can see and observe, you find yourself implementing more and more systems trying to feel better, but somehow everything still feels effortful. You're doing all of the things. Your body is carrying this chronic tension, disrupted sleep patterns, that constant sense of being on that you can't seem to just switch off. In your relationships, which lives in the we space in the lower left quadrant, people see your success, but they don't see this internal struggle that you're having, right? You've become less forthcoming about needing support because part of you believes you should have this figured out by now. You're unconsciously proving rather than simply being, and the capacity to ask for help might not be all that great. And in your system space, the lower right quadrant, your business is successful, absolutely. But it feels like it's running you instead of flowing from you, potentially. Every decision carries this weight because you're making it from a place of depletion rather than abundance. Or you might be in the system space where you can see and have an overview of all of the elements within your business, but also how your business fits into the broader context of your life. So there's this incredible model of the natural adult human maturation process developmentally and psychologically. And this is what developmental psychologist Suzanne Cook-Grotier describes as this crucial movement. And you can consider it as being moving from more to less, where at some point in healthy adult development, we need to let go of the accumulation strategy, the accumulating of knowledge that brought us success. Our minds need to learn to loosen the reins and begin trusting our deeper intuitive wisdom, particularly as we start to cross over into this second half of this maturation process. But I understand that this is super terrifying. And you might have thoughts of, if I stop optimizing, if I stop pushing, if I stop proving my value through achievement, who am I? What will drive me? What if I lose everything I've built as a result of giving up the very patterns that have brought me here? What I really want you to hear, I really want you to crock this. You are not broken. You never have been. You do not need fixing and never did. What you need is the permission to finally feel what success has actually cost your nervous system and to allow that in. It doesn't make it wrong, but not allowing that in is going to cost you tenfold moving forward. We want to meet it with a level of love, compassion, and understanding for how it served us and what parts simply didn't, and how we can start to move forward in a healthier way. So if the goal isn't more optimization, more things that you need to do and improve on? How do we actually begin to trust the wisdom that's already present deep within you? Here's something that I'm going to offer up, and you can take as much or as little of that as you like. The path of moving from getting more, achieving more, and having more to an embodied wisdom and that intuitive knowing is a process of negation, a process where rather than adding, addition, we're negating, we're letting go, we're moving into simplicity. Yeah. Why would that be useful? By moving into a process of negation, all of the patterns that have been sitting and living beneath the surface, that's going to come to the surface. And it may not be all that pretty. Little wonder why we continue down the path of just adding on top of that, getting further and further away from that. But ultimately, there is no escaping those patterns beneath the surface. Cool. What do I do once those patterns come through? And just for my ego, why do I even want to feel the feelings? Aren't they better off just sitting and living beneath all else that has been constructed? What sits beneath those patterns is your incredible power, is your intuitive wisdom. Now, if you're open to allowing more of that to come through, and it's always been coming through, it's simply been coming through this and needing to make its way through this constructed wall of the ego construct, which is not a bad thing. There to protect us, but just may not be protecting us anymore, or serving us so well anymore. It's making its way through these constructed walls, coming out the other end as a distorted version of our intuitive wisdom. Notice how many of us think our feelings. And when you ask someone, how are you? And the response is good. Cool. Good is a mental label for a particular state, a particular feeling. But what does good or bad or sad or angry actually feel like in the body? All of a sudden, even though we're using sensory descriptors such as light, such as heavy, such as tension, such as heat, such as coolness, there's still labels for sure, but so much closer to the reality of the experience of the body, of the soma. And so you start to locate where in the body is this particular thought pattern playing out. And what's the sensation, the energetic signature that's associated with that part of the body? And all of a sudden, you're allowing this spaciousness for this energy. So emotions are essentially energy in motion running through the body. You're just allowing that to start to move through. And that allowance is what allows for healthy processing. And when you allow for healthy processing, you no longer accumulate that and store it on a shelf somewhere deep in your unconscious mind that then ends up influencing your day-to-day decisions. So feeling your feelings fully by being able to hold space for what's running through to the capacity that you're able to at this point in time on your journey is what is going to free you. It is what is going to liberate you and allow you to experience a version of you that is more true than your thinking mind could ever conjure up, ever. Most successful people have forgotten how to actually be with their feelings. So this is a process of remembrance without immediately trying to optimize them away. Oh, I'm feeling this. This shouldn't be here. Let's do something about it. Need to change it. Oh, now I'm in an optimal state. Oh, I'm feeling like this again. Let's change into an optimal state. Actually, can we start to be able to see the inherent wisdom in this state in response to something that's playing out here? There is no one optimal state to be in life. We have responses that are looking to meet the situations in front of us. Behind those responses, we can be in a state of ease, a state of relaxation in the face of the intensity, maybe the energy that's required for a fight, flight, or freeze. And if we allow for that, then situation happens, We have the responses arise in the intensities. So you've got the intensity arise in the face of the intensity, the situation. Then there's you as awareness and as relaxation. This is a relaxed intensity that is possible where you have this layer of relaxation in the face of all intensities. And this is allowing for processing in real time. There might be some remnants after the situation, but it means you don't continue to move forward in life, continuing to accumulate and store more of those patterns on top of the other patterns. We've got more than enough to get through all of the patterns that we've stored up throughout our lifetime, whilst we can be learning or remembering the process of healthy processing. Therefore, we're clearing this process of negation and we're allowing for healthy processing here. Because what I've come to understand through applying this work diligently over years and years and years, and then bringing that and working with many leaders, founders, and entrepreneurs, is that the physical tension you're carrying, that inability to switch off, these aren't problems that need solving. They don't need to be fixed. They're incomplete stress cycles that have been trying to complete themselves for years, if not decades. It's not about learning another technique. It's the technique of no techniques. It's about finally giving your nervous system permission to process all of the activation you've been accumulating for years, allowing for genuine relaxation. You're remembering how to be enough just as you are. It's like you've been holding your breath for years and wondering why you feel tight in your chest. The answer isn't better breathing techniques, and it might not be a heart attack. It's finally exhaling, a quality exhale. When was the last time that had happened? Now, I know what you're thinking. Dan, this sounds great, but I've built my success on drive. Here's the thing about authentic leadership. It doesn't require proving anything anymore. When you're operating from a place of genuine enoughness, from a deep embodied knowing, your value as a human being does not depend on anything you say, think, or do. Your influence actually increases. So here are the 3 shifts that support moving from what we can call success fatigue to sustainable, deep inner fulfillment. And instead of adding more strategies, start subtracting, negating what's not essential. Every optimization system you're not actively using, every course you started but didn't finish, every app that's supposed to make you better, let it go. Travel lighter through life. Second, begin engaging processes that awaken your natural capacity for non-attachment but deep engagement rather than more attachment to outcomes that don't let you move so free. Whether that's breath work, whether that's time in nature, going for a walk, being in the ocean, whether it's simply sitting with what is in the morning, taking the sun in. These aren't productivity hacks. They're remembering practices, remembering what you are before you do anything else, and just allowing your capacity for stillness and silence to start to grow in the face of all of the doing and activity in the world already. FBR is amazing for this, and it's not a bias. Third, start treating your feelings, the energy in your body as information, messenger systems, not obstacles that need to be fixed. That questioning of purpose, that's not a problem. That's your soul asking for deeper alignment. That success fatigue, that's not weakness. That's wisdom telling you to shift from proving into being. The self-improvement trap, as I've called it, for successful people, Israel, and it's keeping you accumulating when what you really need is to integrate what you've already achieved. You've proven you can build external success. You can keep doing that, but from a different space and place. Now you get to remember how to be enough without constantly doing more or being in a contracted state. And by the way, if you need any help with anything we've talked about today, just head to the Work With Me link in the description below. Watch the quick explainer video on who I can and can't help, and feel free to apply to work with me personally. I'd be more than happy to consult with you one-to-one to help you build, grow, and expand your capacity to fully experience life to the fullest. And by the way, I know that jumping on a call with a salesperson is the done thing, but know that I'll be personally jumping on the call with you. So if you need that, the link is there. And so here's one more thing that'll serve you right now to shift from a success fatigue to sustainable fulfillment. You need to start treating your questioning of purpose not as a problem, but as wisdom, yeah, as a yearning. Your soul is asking for deeper alignment, not more achievement. What needs to drop to allow more of you to come through? Do this consistently, and you'll start to notice the constant mental chatter, the monkey mind start to quieten down. Your reactions becoming responses, and that deep rest that you've been craving finally becoming available. You'll find your worth not in winning, but in living with integrity, and that will become winning. I really hope this video helps you get there. And if you want to experience what the shift from proving to being, from being able to activate and relax at the same time actually feels like, check out the video where I walk you through understanding your window of tolerance. Remember, together in deep work, rest, practice, and play. I'll see you in the next one. Let's do this.